If you're a high-level professional, you probably already know that generic fitness advice won't work for your schedule. I mean, if it did, you'd probably already be shredded, right? You don't have time to waste or time for guesswork, which is why in the next few minutes, I'm going to give you the first principles behind the exact 90-day blueprint we use in our health and fitness concierge. This is the minimalist high-leverage plan that got founders, VPs, and pilots shredded with maximum efficiency. My name is Dominic, and I run a health and fitness concierge for traveling professionals. We help them optimize their health, presence, and peak performance with a system built around their life with the help of a team of experts. This plan will finally get you the lean, confident, athletic physique that perfectly matches your career success. Before we get into the exact 90-day blueprint, I want to briefly touch on why you are still stuck and why it's actually not your fault. And with the 90-day blueprint, I'll actually be sharing one of my clients, a chief IP counsel for a Fortune 500 company, who absolutely transformed his physique. And even if I share this with you right here, right? And this was in 6 months, and he came to us. He was working out for decades. And this is going to touch into or translate into why you are stuck. But he was working out for decades, seeing mediocre results. I think he started at the age of 14. And just in 6 months with us, he transformed from average to ready to perform in the next Baywatch at 50 freaking 2. Now, why are you stuck? The reason you are stuck is essentially it's not your fault, right? So here's what happens, and I'll make this big, this circle. So what happens is essentially this. You are consistent, but you're not. And here's what I mean. So you're probably consistent for a long time. Maybe you've been working out for a decade, but you've never been consistent for an extended period of time, say 6 months, 8 months, 12 months on a go. As a result, you've never been able to achieve amazing results because of that. And that is the truth of success, because success doesn't necessarily take decades. It takes doing focused work for an extended period of time, doing the right things focused for a consistent period of time. Now, you have strong willpower, but the reason you haven't been able to stay consistent is because you are following generic advice. You are following advice made for people with time to waste, people with predictable schedules. And here's what probably happens. You are consistent for a little bit, and then something unpredictable happens, like a travel schedule or anything else that disrupts that normal cadence of 6 days a week, 2 hours plus in the gym, and then you fall off. And then you come back, you're back to square one, and the cycle continues. So as I said, generic gym bro advice. Another big one is just relying on willpower, right? Instead of relying on willpower, we teach our clients as systems so we can remove the emotion. But I'll outline that for you in a little bit. And you're following unsustainable plans. You don't have any travel guidance and no identity shift, which I'll get into a little bit. But what this really leads to is inflammation and burnout and this frustration cycle. But really, really importantly, the lost potential, because I'm a firm believer that health is your number one strategic asset. Let's say you are successful in your career. How much more successful would you be if you had more energy, more presence, more respect the moment you entered a room? How much better would you feel about yourself? And the truth is this, there's also a cost, right? Lost energy, lost presence, lost longevity. And even more than that, you work hard in your career, but can you truly say that you can enjoy the fruits of your labor when you go on vacation to the Bahamas or St. Kitts or wherever you might go? Can you truly enjoy it? Do you feel comfortable taking your shirt off? Do you feel like the man deep down? That is what it is costing you. But it's not your fault. You've been following the wrong advice. And this will lead me into exactly what we did with Nadeem right here. In 6 months, we transformed him. Absolutely blew his mind. And what essentially we did, we started off with the foundation, or let me rather say the blueprint. Now, what I want to share with you is both what we did with him and then what you can apply for yourself. So first of all, we focused on just getting all the data we needed. What is his travel schedule? What is his sleep schedule? What are his habits? What are his metrics? And based on everything, we then had clear data calculation. We analyze everything. From there, crystal clear goal setting, and then come up with a custom plan as long as with key milestones. And we essentially say that we guarantee success because we reverse engineer success. We make it inevitable for you to be successful. And that starts with phase one. But I want you to really start at phase two, mainly because you don't have the concierge support. But focus on the foundations, which what we call as the first levers. And this is to build the base that makes effort effortless. And we start off with identity. Most people focus on the outcome or the habits. We focus on identity because I'm a firm believer that if you can shift how you see yourself, who you believe you are to be, the habits will follow and the outcome will be inevitable. If you see yourself as a healthy person, someone who prioritizes their health, you will do what it takes because it is part of who you are. So we focus on that. We focus on that identity shift. And then we also focus on the foundational systems. We make willpower irrelevant by redesigning your surroundings and building a predictable structure for your life. So even we have a look at your calendar, and then based on that, we set certain non-negotiables. For example, did you know that executives, they build their calendar starting off with sleep because they understand the importance of that, which leads me on to the high impact habits that we focus on. So we focus on the biggest levers that will lead to the fastest results as soon as possible. One of them is sleep. Sleep has such a profound effect on your fat loss hormones functioning properly, muscle growth happening the right way. I mean, I could go on to brain function, mood, reduce stress, which is also another reason a lot of the fat just clings onto you because of the stress. Yeah, immune system, aids in weight management. I could really go on. So point is we focus on those high impact habits. Now for you specifically, I want you to, first of all, really on this 90-day journey, focus on optimizing your sleep, right? Make sure it's 8 hours, 7 to 9 hours actually. And make sure you are optimizing your sleep environment. Dark and cool room. Make sure you not, well, I like calling it the 3-2-1 rule. 3 hours before bed, no eating. 2 hours before bed, no drinking. 1 hour before bed, no screen times. Along with that, make it easy for yourself to win. Like if you want to avoid junk food, like don't have junk food in your house. Genuinely, because willpower is finite and you had a long day and you just feel super hungry, you're gonna grab what's that. But if it's not that, you won't be able to have it. Instead, have a delicious protein bar or just other delicious healthy things that are actually aligned with your goals. It's not about making it not delicious. It's just about having delicious meals that are also healthy, and that's exactly what we teach. So that's step one for you, which is step two for our clients. But the second phase is just willpower over systems, and this leads into the engine, the concierge execution. And obviously for our clients, we come up with a custom routine. But what I want you to do is, again, the main reason you haven't been able to stay consistent is because you're doing 6 days a week. That's not going to work for you. You need a schedule that actually you can stick to. And what I would suggest is 3 days a week. It's an amazing time frame or frequency rather to get both maximum results in minimal time. And what we teach our clients is essentially metabolic optimization. So at the core, getting in shape is really simple. Focus on the foundations, right? Protein, how much? 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. Then get your steps in, 5 to 10K if possible. Make sure you're sleeping and make sure you're in a calorie deficit if you're looking to lose weight, and then work out. So it's really simple at the core, but obviously if you want to take it to the next level, it's a little bit more complicated. And essentially what we teach our clients is the lazy way, which ties into metabolic optimization, which is our unique science-backed method, which allows you to eat more food while losing fat, which is really exciting, through strategic macronutrient manipulation, calories to step ratio, and resistance training. And this combination allows you to eat way more food than you could ever imagine. But more on that in a little bit. Mainly what I wanted to touch on is what we do for our clients is we find that resistance training sweet spot, because the truth is this, that the bodybuilder approach of maybe 20 sets per muscle group per week might give you the most amount of results. but the graph isn't linear. So you can actually get the most results with 4 to 8 sets per muscle group per week, which is exactly what we focus on for our clients. You'll get about 80% of the muscle gain results. So again, for you, find a 3-day routine that you can stick to. What I recommend for my clients often is the upper, lower, full body split, because it allows you a frequency of 2 for each muscle group, which is the most effective. So back to the engine. Come up with a routine that you can actually stick to. Our science-backed method, I explained that a little bit. And then just dealing with unpredictability. What we give our clients is essentially, this is really exciting, because I like to call this your problems, our systems. And we map out every single problem, from jet lag, business dinners, chronic stress, slow metabolism, lack of knowledge, everything. And then we have a solution, which is twofold. One, the concierge support, which is what we do behind the scenes for you. And the other side of things is simple mental models we give you to remove any guesswork and decision-making fatigue. Essentially, think of it like, if this, then that. And the most successful people have mental models to make decisions. I know even, for example, Barack Obama had 50 of the same suits. Okay, it might be an exaggeration, but again, taking all the thinking and guesswork so you have more brain power to focus on what you want to do and what you do best. So to give you an example of a mental model, let's say jet lag, right? And obviously jet lag destroys sleep, and sleep is so important, as I alluded to earlier. So on the concierge side of things, what we do is we give them a step-by-step travel protocol with everything outlined, what they need specifically, their specific supplement recommendation, then any purchases we feel like they need to make, whether it's an eye mask, earplugs, whatever. So we organize that for them. But what I would recommend for you is, as I mentioned, implement that 3-2-1 rule. And when it comes to specific jet lag, just a great habit is, for example, the morning sun habit. The moment you arrive at your destination and you wake up the next day, go out and get some sunlight, because this immediately resets your circadian rhythm, which is super crucial. And yeah, it resets your internal clock. And as I said, the 3-2-1 rule, travel ready. So again, we give our clients all these mental models, and that allows them to make the right decisions for themselves. So for the next 90 days for you first of all, you mapped out your foundations, your first levers. You focused on the identity, you designed your environment, and you focused on the biggest first levers, which is sleep. And for example, stress management is another one, because I know a lot of people, they tend to eat out of stress. So if we can focus on what is the main constraint, then solve for that. Then the second step for you is to come up with a routine that actually works for you. So my example would be the upper-lower split with a full body split that works really, really well. And of course, the science-backed method, which is a little bit more complicated, but yeah, that's exactly what we did with Nadeem. And then, yeah, concierge support, but that's all back-end stuff on our end. But just to give you an idea what we did with Nadeem, he obviously came, we focused on these 3 things, and then we took him through the metabolic optimization phase, which is what I shared with you. And at that point, his metabolism was firing, and we could then move him on to the fat loss phase, where fat loss was so much easier. And from there, whenever, this is cool for our team, here's my team, amazing team. I have nutritionists, trainers, physiotherapists, back-end client success. But mainly what we did for Nadeem, whenever he encountered, for example, a weight freeze, cool, structured refeed, Or let's say he had a weight stagnation, okay, let's add activity or lower calories. Or weight plateau even, okay, let's go back to the metabolic optimization phase, right? So we have these decision trees, and that way we, again, guarantee success. And then we went, for example, on a lean gain phase, where we just filled him out quite nicely, and then he reached his goal physique. And the goal is really long-term sustainability and becoming a lazy, shredded man. And lazy essentially just means leveraged. You understand that you can get more out for the time you put in, and the result of that is everything you see here. Even if we had a look at Gecko, he flies 757s and 767s across the pond to Europe, and we helped him transform in 6 months. Like, it's incredible. I'm just smiling seeing this. Even Jai, vice president at a Fortune 500 company, and we absolutely blew him up. And that is the cool thing about doing something for a consistent period of time with the right strategy. So now you know what to do for the next 90 days. At least you have a clear or an outline, right? I just want to focus on what does it mean to be a lazy shredded man. And he symbolizes a master of self-optimization who gets maximum results with minimum effort. That's what I was alluding to earlier. And the deeper meaning is his physical vitality reflects his professional success and his mastery of long-term thinking. Again, your health is the number one strategic asset. It really is. I want to leave you with this. Your dream physique is genuinely closer than you could ever imagine. Really. You just need to find a plan that actually works for you. Stay consistent because you've got the willpower. You've got it. I know you do. You just need the right plan. So whether that's hiring another coach, figuring it out yourself, or hiring us, at the end of the day, you need to stay consistent for an extended period of time with a plan that actually works for you, right? Because if you do, your life will transform. And I'm so freaking passionate about this because, man, if you saw my journey, I started off as this skinny kid and I was trying to fill a void at the time. And I wanted to feel heard, seen, understood. And yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I was lost. And then I actually locked in, I studied, and I transformed because once you know what you're doing, you obviously see results. But when my business started to take off, I needed to find a more leveraged approach, and also working with a lot of high-level professionals. That was the route I needed to go. And then I became a lazy, shredded man. It's in you. I know it is, right? You're closer than you think. I hope this was valuable, and I will see you in the next one.